Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to Biblio Fitness. Hope everyone's had a great day thus far. As you can hear, it's quite a storm outside. It's pretty annoying, but it is what it is. So I apologize for that background noise. Then, but today I read a very interesting point provided by Nietzsche as I continue to read the chapter of We Scholars. um, we scholars. Just making sure you don't think I said weed. But yeah, he talks about like how because before that he talks about how there's been an inversion of science and philosophy in order of rank, right? Like science is now preemptive. I mean, not preemptive, but dominant, and like in the dominance in the epoch of its like at the height of its popularity, at the height of its power right now. The advancement of science, the industrial revolution, and how we've changed our perspectives on philosophy, and how even scholars have taken a different viewpoint of philosophy, has gone against its overarching, its searching out, its seeking, and it's confided itself within this base of knowledge, and just looks at philosophy with contempt, because he goes on to talk about how scholars and scientists and stuff like that take on the nature of the democratic movement, because of their poverty, for example. Their views are obviously going to change against how philosophy tries to really encompass everything and take care of you look at it from a very broad perspective and from up high, which means you are looking from a superior vantage point. But since the scientists look at it from a different perspective, right? Because if you think about it, the entire advancements of science has been towards this notion that we are one day going to achieve a day where there is no suffering, right? Where there's equality for all, where there's democracy for all. Like, I love Russell Brand, but that's where he loses me. Like, I love that he tries to elucidate and really tries to provide amazing information to the public, but I think it's extremely naive to think that one day we're all going to join a democracy. Like, I don't think that works. Most people can't do that. It's in our nature. But that's what it is, right? The entire advancement of science has led to the betterment of the world, the increasing uh, uh, lifestyle gained by the population on average. We don't have babies dying by the millions, where or 75% of kids would die before the age of 5 type shit. Like, we don't do that anymore, right? While there is that still disparity between the rich and the poor, and it's definitely getting wider, it has gone a whole lot better than it was like 200 years ago, right? So that's where this whole notion is, and that's where Nietzsche talks about how people look at philosophy with contempt, because they look at the success of science as democracy included. Like, it's for everybody. Everybody is involved. Everybody's special. There is no hierarchy, and there's nothing like that. So it is a refusal of nature in its own way, and it tries to take the stead of philosophy. It become like, he always talks about how the quote, I forgot from who it is, but is no god, no gods, no masters. But then they become masters of philosophy, and that's where I'm going to here is they try to take over virtues and morality and behavior, and how you need to how to interact in the world and how to play the game, right? That's what's going on here in modern days. How many times are we going to be talking about this fucking thing? But it's that's really how it is. And I love how he really it's just beautifully described in the book, and you can apply it to what's going on here. It's ridiculous, right? Like, what's I'm so sorry, I don't know why my nose is itching. I swear I did not do any booger sugar. I don't know why my nose is so itchy, but you look at it, and they really try to, like, God is no longer there, but science still takes on, how he talks about how it was a handmaid of theology, of religion, for a long time. And while it's withdrawn its allegiance, it still follows the same shit, right? It becomes the highest moral standing, and they want to be the masters now. because he talks about, like, in this world, in this atmosphere where democracy, where the need for everyone to like one another, for everyone to get along, for this to be this is a true plebeian revolution, right? Like, this is what it's all about. And this is what he's talking about is, look how we are with social media, right? Like, we get anxiety with how many views we're gonna get on a video, how many views we're gonna get on a reel, or how many likes. It doesn't matter, right? The whole world is built on social gratification and social confirmation, right? Like, you need to be accepted by other people. You need to be liked, and and a ridiculous and blatantly blatant example of this is how everyone does the same voiceovers, or everybody uses the same audios on their Instagram reel, or everybody does the same fucking skit, for example, or the same dance on TikTok. Now, you get famous by doing literally the same thing as everybody else. Like, that's a blatant message that if you adhere to the ideology, you're gonna get points in that further down that ideology. So it really does reel you in really hot, really, really well on a multitude of levels, right? And one thing that really resonated with me is he goes on to talk about that, because he mentions the problem of how difficult it is going to be for a person to really escape from this ideology, how tight its grip is on us now. Everything is about social confirmation, really. And it's very difficult to be able to get away from them without tiring out, for example. Quitting and just saying, what, fuck it, I'm just gonna just play the game. Fuck it, I'm just gonna connect and play the game. I don't wanna keep going up to the mountaintop to be able to look from on high, which is what he always says. Or you might become a specialist. You might get entranced. You might get seduced by it. Become a specialist in one department, because one of the biggest things about him is to never ever hold on to an absolute truth. While you do need convictions, of course, you need to be adaptable. You need to be constantly searching. You can't calm down. That's the problem. That's why a lot of people go to Christianity, for example, to become exhausted. They don't want to deal with the suffering and the constant strife. They look for a way to unload the burden, right, and a justification for it. But he says no, to keep moving, right? And that's how it gets you, and you could fall into that. Or by the time you reach the summit, you would have already passed your best years and your best abilities to fight. You're past your prime. It took you too long. Or, you come bitter, degenerate, polluted with it. You don't come out the other side the way you should. You have been entranced by it. You have been corrupted by it. Or you get jaded. You look at the disgust and the filth and all the craziness that goes on in this world on a daily basis. Well, every fucking second, really. And it leaves you utterly contempt, with utter contempt for the world. And it therefore skews your views, and you become pessimistic, and you don't really look at it from on high. You're clouded, so you can't see clearly. And it's really difficult in this era, right? With social media, with the internet, with all these things, everything is perfectly set up for these sort of revolution. And that's really the question: is do we continue to go after this, considering the fact that the other way has led to these fucking cocksuckers telling us what to do? So that is a dilemma, right? But there comes a cause for the other one. This is the fundamental problem, what to do, because look at what's going on following many, right? We have blue-haired fucks walking around telling us how to behave, and people telling that their 2-year-old kid is gay, and I really do think that's everybody clamoring for attention. Everybody wants to be known. Everybody wants to have their own little sunshine in this fucking flat ass plane of people. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's really what it is. It really entrances you to play in the game. And that's just another contradictory contradictory, antithetical natures going conflicting within these sort of people, right? Like they want everyone to be the same, but they want adulation. You know what I'm saying? Oh, meek, they preach humbleness, but they like to really, like they like everyone to know that they're part of it. They're in the game. That's why, people become thirsty for Instagram likes and the verification, even though you could pay for that shit online now. But, like the legit way, people look for that. Like, oh, I can't wait till I get fucking verified. That means people like me. That means I'm actually famous to people. I'm in the game. You're just getting deeper and deeper into this whole ideology. That's really what it is. It's a very treacherous route to traverse. We're ideological creatures. How many times have I said that? But it is true, and it is fundamental, and it is something that one must be aware of and trying to get through all this, because I'm participating in it right now, right? I'm making videos. I'm going to try to take advantage of the system and see what it could do for me, type shit. It's what it is. We all do it for our own personal reasons. I just don't mind saying it out loud. I don't care for moral valuations too much anymore. The more I read this guy, it's like everything just makes fucking sense. Like, that's the thing. Like, if you're not reading Beyond Good and Evil, I highly suggest you do. I can't believe it took me this long to read it. I feel, well, you know what? Better late than never, right? I'm not going to scold myself because I didn't read it earlier. It is what it is. But yes, it's quite amazing, and he really does hone in on this whole scientific endeavor and its democratic nature, its revolutionary nature. It's very astute. It's very astute analysis. What can you expect from a fucking genius, right? But this inversion of values, I've never really seen it that way. Like, how like people talk about philosophy now as behavior, like like a stoicism is at the height of philosophy right now. People to control their emotions, to stifle their passions in a way. That's the standing. And to be wise, or to be a philosopher, to be prudent, to take things easy, to not get quick, to be very slow and methodical and very hesitant. And Nietzsche calls to be unphilosophical and unwise, to take the jump when you need to, and take the jump when it's there, That's the only way you're going to get through. You can't continue to abide by the same moral standards in which your philosophy is rooted in, because philosophy is still under that overarching morality of the herd that he continues to talk about, right? The herd morality of everybody for everybody, equality for all, love and compassion and camaraderie, and you have to worry about the suffering of others more than yourself, and all this other stuff. So it's not anything really new, and it's still in the ideology in which we're trying to escape from. Obviously, Stoicism has its use. I'm not dogging or anything, but it is that connection that needs to be stated, right? He's mind effing the shit out of me quite a bit, and I just wanted to talk about that because it is a very interesting analysis of this whole ideology and how it really brings you in. And you know what's something that's really interesting is that that you get outed really hard for not being in the ideology, like great writers or great critics or even artists that are against the ideology, against what I just talked about, because I'm not the only one that fucking knows this, obviously. They don't get known, they don't make any money. You get incentive to participate, not, you know what I'm saying? Like, obviously now with maybe for example, like Joe Rogan, I don't need to give a fuck, of course, but it's just really cool. Like, I was listening to Deathcore today, and I was looking at them, like, they're talking about, being against God and all this other stuff, it being, a message of doubt and against the world, and a pessimism against the world, and a lack of trust. And I'm just saying, like, of course it'd be angry, of course it'd be bestial, of course, because, we're going against the reason and understanding reality and our instincts. And I guess that's really where it goes, like, really hardcore, and you're like head banging, and it brings out a violent nature within you. I like, that's what I use it for the gym, for example. I can't work out without deathcore. It's just a really good way to place yourself in that position. And I feel like I was just making that analysis today. It's like, oh, no wonder it's like that way. You know, it's a message against the world, against the conformity and the niceness and the cleanliness of it all. Or just saying fuck you. We're gonna be the complete opposite, right? Talk about really fucked up shit and the utter depravity of man and the possibilities of man from that perspective of the erotic depravity, capable in anyone really. I'm sure, given the right circumstances, given the right place, you know, you never know. It is a part of our nature that we have to be watchful of, right? In order, I don't know. I guess that's what you could call objective truth, right? Like, I agree with everybody. We shouldn't allow those sort of things. That's just, but that's a tough one on the time. I don't want to get into that too much, but it is an interesting question, right? Like what to do with the human instincts, because these are outbursts of some innate part of us. Do we accept all instincts, or, you know, even though Nietzsche talked about, like, you know, using reason, like you don't want to use things that are obviously going to be against the integrity of the whole structure, right? So no matter how you look at it, that's disgusting, but it is, you know, people have done it, which is something that, like, you know, everybody's like everybody, right? So interesting, very interesting. So that'll be all for right now. It's a very I'm starving, and I'm going to continue reading to continue to provide, or to continue to do more, you know, elaborate on it further. It's an amazing book, and I'm going to immediately read Twilight of the Idols afterwards. Probably won't take me too long to finish this shit. Hopefully not. It's just it is a bit of work. Sometimes I feel like I overthink it also. Sometimes I feel like I read the passage a little bit too many times for no reason. Like, I already get it. Like, I get it. Like, why do I need to keep reading this again? But, you know, I need to get over that, right? That's not a behavior that I want to retain, because that's riddled with self-doubt. And you can't lead and you can't be great if you have self-doubt. So that behavior needs to be eradicated, like, immediately. Now, thinking about it. So I hope you all have a great day. I hope you all made gains. Today is Wednesday, so that's a rest day for moi. But tomorrow is leg day. Tomorrow is quad day. I did move up in the pound and squat to 40 pounds. That machine is heavy as hell, boy. But damn, it lights your quads on fire. Like, I literally do 2 sets. Like, I just do those 2 sets, and my quads are pumped to hell. Like, already. It's an amazing, amazing machine. It's tough. I get nervous. I'm like, how the hell am I gonna get this money? But somehow I do. You know, it's really cool how you eliminate self-doubt every day. Like, you know, I'm glad I'm reading this. You know, there's a lot of things that need to be worked on, and this self-doubt needs to be eradicated. Like, why do I go in there nervous? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I got this. But I have been improving on that. Like, I really have been just taking it, be like, all right, we're getting to 12. I'm getting 12. We're getting minimum 12. Minimum 12 I'm getting. You know, I'm beating it. I don't look at it without it anymore. It's fun. I love it. But I do love it that there are times where you get the nerves, like you're getting to weight you never touched before, right? So it's pretty cool. It's a nice way. I finally passed the 180 mark. I'm not sure if I said this before. My apologies if I did. But I'm glad that I did. And it's great to make games, and it's great to read Nietzsche. And it's really fun. It's really fun doing all this stuff. So I hope you all have a great day. As I've said before, I love y'all. And be safe. Peace.